1160 and WCCSradio.com. Well, I sort of hinted. I didn't hint. I outright said it. If Tom Ott and Barry Widdowson are here, we must be talking about trains, and they are. And we are. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people over this past weekend. Gentlemen, I was walking through the Indiana Mall, and what do I see? But you guys are getting ready to go, huh?
It starts this Saturday.
Wow.
And go every weekend from there on, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Yeah, so let's tell folks, Tom, you have a great shirt on for this today.
Nice.
He has a One Track Mind T-shirt with a train on it. The Indiana Railroad Collectors and your annual train show at the Indiana Mall is such a great event. Give me the details, Tom.
Well, it's our 8th annual show, and we're back at the Indiana Mall at the American Eagle store that we were at last year. Mm-hmm. And we're getting ready to go. We have 3 or 4 new layouts. We try to do something new each year. And this year we have a disappearing train, which we hope the kids will notice. It goes in a tunnel, and then it disappears, and then finally does come out the other end.
Oh, yeah? It takes it a while, huh?
It does.
Yeah. Well, the layout itself will, of course, it pretty much fills up that entire space, doesn't it?
Yes, there's almost 20 layouts this year, and
wow.
And some of them are getting bigger and bigger every year.
Mm-hmm.
So. We enjoy doing it. We start in the middle of October to build it, and it takes us a whole month to get ready.
Yeah. What about the design stage of it? Because you don't just go in and start slapping things together. You really have to think this through, don't you?
Right. We start in July talking about, well, what's going to be new this year, who's going to bring what in, and we agree with that. And then we also do a layout at the Indiana County Fair. By that time, we pretty much have in mind what we're going to do for the holiday display at the mall as well.
How many club members are going to have train sets there this year?
We have 14 members, and 2 of them are operators, so about 12 of the group will have actual trains there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what are some of the highlights for you as you put it together?
Well, we've got several large layouts this year. We have one that shows off about 80 different ceramic buildings depicting Charles Dickens and his writings.
Oh, nice.
The Christmas Story, and also Oliver Twist. But it has, of course, a train running through the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And there's another large O-gauge layout, and that's built new every year from the ground up. And they've worked a long time getting that ready.
Yeah, you mentioned the sizes of the trains, and you said O-gauge for that one?
That's one. Yes.
How many different gauges are involved in this show?
I'd say there's probably 6 or 7. It goes as small as N gauge, which is very small, like the size of a nickel. I always remember N means nickel.
Uh-huh.
And then HO and S gauge and G gauge, which is the outside garden train. Mm-hmm. And there are 2 sizes of O gauge. I'm not sure that people know that. One is the full scale O, and then O27. They work on the same track, but they're dimensionally smaller. One's smaller than the other. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of everything. They make a Z gauge, but it's so small that you need a jeweler to work on it.
Well, you know one of those, don't you?
Yes, we do.
He doesn't want to work on it.
No, sometimes, even at that size, it gets pretty minute having to deal with those. And to keep these trains running is no small task.
No, we do maintenance in between each show, each week, and oil to make sure they're good. But it does take some maintenance and, surprisingly, cleaning of the track, because when they start not performing well, it's usually because they're dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you that folks who put up their train sets get them out every year and put them around the Christmas tree. There are some things that they could probably learn from you fellas that would help them to make sure that thing isn't jumping the track. For some reason, it always jumps the track here, and they don't know why.
Exactly. Well, that's part of the fun, is talking with the people, giving them a few pointers on what our experience has been with trains, what they might want to try at home. Mm-hmm. And some of the new modern electronics is amazing. You can stand there with a remote control and run a room full of trains if you choose to do that.
Yeah.
But I like turning on a transformer myself.
Sure. And that's a part of it.
we're still a little bit of old school.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, that's what it's all about if you can't be a kid again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The quilters have always been a part of this show, too.
And they're back in force. They have 24 quilts that they're sharing with us this year, the Indiana PA Quilters Club. And Mimi Green is our president. She brought in 18 quilts, and then a few days later brought another 6 in.
Oh, yeah?
And we found places for them up on the walls, and they're beautiful this year. Actually, she had her group do train themes.
Oh, yeah?
So a lot of steam engine quilts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of quilts that show trains in various stages of freight hauling and passengers. So it's pretty nice and interesting. There's also a couple of really neat farm scenes this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are some of those for sale or all
They
of them?
are. Some of the quilters want to keep theirs, and we marked on them not for sale, but those that are available to the public, we did put a number on so people can take a look.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, a big part of the train show in the past has been its support of the Teddy Bear Fund Drive.
That's going to happen again this year. We've got the jug out there. We're hoping people come along and drop in a few pennies or a few dollars, and that works well.
You found they add up pretty quickly, don't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I get to the point I have to push the bills down into the pot. It gets too high.
Yeah, that's not a bad problem to have.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's terrific that people are so generous when they come to see the trains. And that's really what it is all about, is introducing kids to train sets and to train layouts and bringing the nostalgia back for those who have had train sets in the past and maybe just the curious. You'd love for everybody to come out and see these trains.
Everybody that comes out is very well pleased with what they see. They're amazed that we can do so much in such a short time.
Yeah, and for a lot of them too, it's let's take a break from the shopping. Maybe I've been walking around, back's a little sore, need a little break and maybe refresh my mind, and they get to look at something like that. It really is something else.
And we have trains back from the turn of the century, so come and see Grandpa's train. You may remember that from years past.
We've talked about this in the past, that some of these train sets are very, very old and delicate, too.
Yeah. But we have one gentleman that runs trains that are 100 years old, and he runs them, and he repairs them, and he has them going. So they're good to see. They're very noisy. The standard gauge back then was very noisy. I understand that people would put them in their foyers or living rooms. They must not have had a conversation much when they were there, because when they're running, it is loud.
Yeah. Now, when people come in to see the display, are all of the trains always running, or does it run in segments or phases, or how do you do that?
I would say 90% of the time they are running. Every once in a while you shut them down for a few minutes to let them cool down and let them relax. And there's always something moving, always.
Yeah.
We also have another gentleman, speaking of the older trains, who gets older trains and buys them and completely restores them and repaints them so that they look like they're brand new.
Wow.
So there's many facets to this hobby, many.
Right. And scenery is a big thing. As Barry was saying, the large layout this year is a lumber mill, and we have a mountain that has the tree stumps sawed off and the animals running around.
Oh, yeah.
It's very realistic. They spend a lot of time, Cindy and Mark, putting that together, and they do a great job. But worth a stop just to see what you can do with scenery with a train set and what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people make things realistic to the town in which they grew up as well. And you'll see old stores that are no longer there and old churches and things that, even the town might not be there anymore, but somebody remembers them.
Exactly.
That's a big part of it.
We have Jim's train shop on display. He's retired and went fishing, but we have his shop on display.
Oh, yeah? Nice. Now, for you guys personally, I know that you have several options when you're choosing which train set you're going to bring to the show this year. What did you do, Barry?
Well, this year I didn't bring my small HO layout. I'm letting somebody else do that. I'm working on the large thing, and I have the S gauge and the train running through the village. So that's the size I'm working with this year.
Yeah. Is it a diesel? Is it a coal fire? What is it?
Hey, it's a steam locomotive.
It's a steam locomotive.
Yes.
Nice. What about you, Tom?
Well, this year I chose to do a fire department scene. So we're honoring our local firefighters. And we have a large diesel engine and a smaller diesel MP15 pulling, actually, it's New York Fire Department cars that after 9/11, they issued a special train set. Mm-hmm. And we have 2 of those showing along with the Red Cross train. So I think it would be interesting for the local firefighters to stop and see a fire department train set.
Yeah, there you go.
It has a siren as a whistle. When you push whistle instead of a typical whistle, it's a siren goes off.
Nice. All right. So hours for the of operation for the train show this year?
Typically on Friday afternoons 4 to 7, on Saturday afternoons 1 to 5, and on Sunday 1 to 4. But our opening day, which is Saturday, we're going to be there at the arrival of Santa Claus at 10 a.m. at the mall and stay till 5. So that's a long day on Saturday. And we always have extended hours on Friday after Thanksgiving because it's such a large shopping day. Mm-hmm. We'll be there from 1 to 5 as well.
Nice. And people can stop by and just enjoy. That's what it's all about.
Right.
Come and bring the kids. They enjoy it.
Exactly. Barry, you're absolutely right. Well, Barry Widdowson, Tom Ott, thanks so much for coming in to show the folks what's about to happen at the Indiana Mall, or to tell the folks what's about to happen, and they get the opportunity to come and visit and talk a little trains. The train members, the club members, they love to talk about trains.
They
don't
love to talk about the trains and what they do with them and how they do it, and it's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Todd. Appreciate it very much.
The voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.